What they had done was leave behind something that was so stupendous, so monstrously impressive, and say, hey, like this defies conventional explanation.
A Russian child who has never traveled beyond the confines of his home country shared fascinating stories of the Sphinx in Egypt. He has baffled the world, forcing experts to rethink what they know and theorize about the ancient structure.
Modern accepted construction dates of the Great Pyramid, it's more than 5,000 years ago, or close to 5,000 years ago.
Great Pyramid is supposed to be about 4,500 years old,
That's really old.
How can a mere child make such bold claims? Does he know something more than world-leading experts? Or is this child another scam cultivated to prey on innocent people online? Who is Borishka? Borishka Kiprianovich was just a little boy when he and his parents gained notoriety in the early 2000s for multiple reasons. First, his parents called him the smartest boy in the world, which is probably what every parent wants to believe about their child. However, the press quickly copied and used these words in their articles. The parents claimed Borishka was exceptional from infancy. They said he could hold his head up at 2 weeks old and started talking cohesively from very early on. He excelled in school from day one and took a keen interest in arts, languages, and science early on. Soon, Borishka started recounting stories from a past life. He told his parents that this was not his first life and that he now possessed access to memories from this past life. He told fantastical stories of being reincarnated as human in this life, and that his past life was as a Martian living on Mars. His parents probably thought at first that he was making it up, as children often do. And so, Borishka started sharing more details, which left his parents in awe. Borishka was fascinated by space, and his parents claimed they did not provide him with any resources that could give him this knowledge, solidifying their belief that their son might be more special than they initially thought. The boy told stories of an intergalactic war on Mars. He said that he was part of a Martian race and that there was great political unrest and turmoil in his homeland. He claimed that Martians never visited Earth or engaged with the species here in their true form because they breathed in carbon dioxide, and their problems and technology surpassed anything humans on Earth could ever know. He also claimed that the Martians knew of the existence of life on Earth, and that he would often travel in highly sophisticated spaceships with his friends on journeys across time and space, including surveillance missions of life on Earth from Mars. The boy said that when war broke out among the Martians, he fought valiantly with his comrades and recalled that the war ended in mass nuclear weapons being used on the planet. The use of atomic weapons led to the destruction of the Martian race and the death of Borishka in his past life. He was then reincarnated as a human on Earth, claiming he was here to tell us about the war on Mars and to stop such a catastrophe from happening to another race. All parents want to believe that their child is unique, which may be why his parents took his stories at face value. These detailed stories caused his parents to consult with experts and share them with the press. We all know the truth becomes irrelevant once a narrative is published, so no one knows if Borishka was genuinely telling the truth. All we have now are a couple of his interviews from that time. As quickly as this story made headlines worldwide, details became murkier over time, and no one knows where Borishka is today. There are theories of his disappearance being linked to the Russian government, while some say that it was probably all a lie and his parents made it up to make a quick buck. So what is the truth? It's hard to know the truth. However, Borishka did reveal some other secrets to the press that continue to leave us baffled and intrigued. Besides stories about Mars and space exploration, Borishka also took a keen interest in ancient monuments. He was fascinated by the Sphinx and believed that the monument held hidden knowledge that was crucial to safeguarding the future of humanity. He spoke of a hidden mechanism located behind the ear of the Sphinx. He claimed that activating this mechanism would lead us to a room or space containing a bounty of knowledge that could answer big questions for humanity and provide us with highly advanced tools left behind by ancient Martians. When pressed for details, Borishka failed to provide any specifics on how this mechanism worked or how exactly he knew of its existence. He told experts that the details are fuzzy, and this is all he can remember, which caused his claims to carry less weight in their eyes. Borishka was also fascinated by the Great Pyramid of Giza and claimed that it, too, contained undiscovered ancient knowledge. He saw these ancient structures as more than just fragments of human history. He believed they contained technological secrets beyond human comprehension and urged experts to investigate them. The experts who studied Borishka also noted his deep understanding of these subjects and agreed that these concepts, like the inner workings of the Sphinx, were typically beyond the grasp of any ordinary child. Yet scholars were still taking his claims with a grain of salt, even though it did reignite curiosity among them about the origins of his knowledge, and to investigate the Sphinx further to ensure they got everything. While Borishka was a fascinating child, questions arose about whether his knowledge was genuine, or if he might have been spoon-fed these stories by his parents or some other adults around him during his upbringing. His case became a subject of intrigue and debate among both the historical and paranormal communities. Although we can never know for certain what or who Borishka really was, his story managed to create new curiosity and capture the attention of experts who had long given up on investigating the Sphinx further. Were Borishka's claims about the Sphinx true? Is the scientific community ready to further investigate the Sphinx to put these conspiracies to rest? Has the scientific community truly tried to examine the Sphinx properly? Is there something left to explore, or do we know everything about the Sphinx from past expeditions?
Discovery, in my opinion, is the most important discovery on the 21st century.
Decades of dangerous explorations of the Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza is an iconic limestone statue with a lion's body and a pharaoh's head. It stands as one of the most captivating monuments of ancient Egypt. Its exploration has spanned centuries, attracting the curiosity of explorers, archaeologists, historians, and artists alike. Despite significant findings, many mysteries about the Sphinx remain unsolved. The earliest Western encounter with the Sphinx can be traced back to Napoleon Bonaparte's Egyptian campaign in 1798. Accompanying Napoleon was a team of scholars and scientists who meticulously documented the ancient ruins of Egypt. They sketched and described the Sphinx, noting its grand scale and mysterious aura. However, the actual exploration of the Sphinx did not begin until the 19th century. In 1817, Captain Giovanni Battista Caviglia, an Italian explorer and Egyptologist, undertook one of the first modern attempts to excavate the Sphinx. His efforts led to uncovering its chest and freeing its front paws, which had been buried in the Saharan sand for centuries. This initial excavation piqued the interest of the global archaeological community, setting the foundation for future explorations. The French engineer Émile Barrès played a crucial role in further uncovering the Sphinx in the 1920s and 1930s. Barrès's work revealed much of the Sphinx's body, which had been submerged in sand up to its neck. His excavation provided a more comprehensive view of the Sphinx, allowing scholars to study its form and features in greater detail. In the mid-20th century, Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass led significant efforts to study and restore the Sphinx. Hawass, a prominent figure in Egyptology, led numerous projects aimed at preserving and understanding this ancient monument. His work included using advanced technologies, such as ground-penetrating radar and seismic surveys to explore beneath the Sphinx. These investigations aim to locate potential chambers or tunnels, some of which remain a mystery to this day. A major restoration initiative occurred in the late 1980s and early 1990s. This project addressed the severe erosion and structural damage the Sphinx suffered over a millennia. Geologists, under the supervision of Hawass, studied the Sphinx's weathering patterns to understand its age and the environmental conditions it had faced. Based on these water erosion patterns, some theories suggest that the Sphinx could be much older than traditionally believed. Numerous theories and myths have surrounded the Sphinx. Some of these theories involve hidden chambers, and secret knowledge thought to be guarded by the monument. These theories have sparked the imaginations of researchers and the public while aligning with stories told by Borsika, leading to further speculations about what lies beneath the Sphinx. One of the most enduring theories is the existence of a hall of records, a hidden library containing ancient knowledge. American clairvoyant Edgar Cayce popularized this idea, claiming that the Hall of Records would be discovered in the 20th century. Despite extensive searches and advanced technological investigations, no conclusive evidence of such a chamber has been found yet. Other theories propose that the Sphinx was built by an advanced civilization predating the ancient Egyptians. Believers of this theory point to the Sphinx's weathering patterns, suggesting that it may be thousands of years older than conventional dating. However, mainstream archaeology broadly supports the view that the Sphinx was constructed during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BCE. The Sphinx has also been a source of inspiration for artists throughout history. Its breathtaking appearance and symbolism have inspired numerous works of art, literature, and even films. In ancient times, the Sphinx was considered a guardian figure, embodying strength and wisdom. This symbolism continued through the ages, influencing various artistic creations. European artists often depicted the Sphinx during the Renaissance, reflecting the growing fascination with ancient Egypt. The Sphinx appeared in paintings, sculptures, and literary works, symbolizing mystery and ancient wisdom. The Romantic period further amplified this interest, with artists like Gustave Flaubert and writers like Percy Bysshe Shelley drawing inspiration from the Sphinx. In modern times, the Sphinx has been featured in numerous films, documentaries, and novels. Its mysterious aura and grandeur make it a popular subject in popular culture, often associated with ancient secrets and lost civilizations. The history of the Sphinx is also marked by several incidents and anecdotes that add to its lore. One of the most famous is the story of the missing nose. According to popular legend, Napoleon's troops destroyed the Sphinx's nose using cannon fire during their campaign in Egypt. However, historical records and sketches predating Napoleon's arrival show the Sphinx without its nose, suggesting that the damage occurred much earlier. Some scholars believe that a Sufi Muslim intentionally defaced it in the 14th century to protest against idol worshipping. Another incident involves the discovery of a large stela, known as the Dream Stela, between the paws of the Sphinx. This stela, erected by Pharaoh Thutmose IV, is a retelling of a dream in which the young prince was promised kingship if he cleared the sand covering the Sphinx. This story tells us more about the Sphinx's role as a symbol of divine favor and royal legitimacy in ancient Egypt. Thanks to this continued interest, scientists have not given up on exploring the Sphinx just yet. Modern technological advances have enhanced the exploration and preservation of the Sphinx like never before. Techniques such as 3D scanning, digital modeling, and photogrammetry have provided us with detailed maps and models of the Sphinx, helping scientists in both research and conservation efforts. Other inventions, like the ground-penetrating radar and seismic surveying, have been instrumental in exploring the Sphinx's subsurface. These methods have revealed anomalies and potential voids beneath the monument, giving researchers further proof of possible hidden chambers. However, despite these advanced techniques, no definitive evidence of such chambers has been found, leaving many questions unanswered. The Sphinx continues to guard many of its secrets. Preservation efforts remain a priority, given the monument's vulnerability to environmental factors such as wind erosion, pollution, and rising groundwater levels. Egyptian authorities and international teams continue collaborating on preservation projects to ensure the Sphinx's longevity. These initiatives include regular monitoring of its condition, applying conservation treatments to stabilize its structure, and controlling the impact of tourism. The goal is to balance the Sphinx's preservation with its role as a major tourist attraction, drawing millions of visitors each year. After all, the Sphinx is considered part of the Giza pyramid complex, making it one of the 7 wonders of the world. This statement alone causes millions of people to journey to Egypt every year to witness this marvel once in their lifetimes. Multiple researchers have debated the mysteries of the Sphinx and, in recent times, have given way to new theories about its origins. Could the Sphinx be a creation of ancient aliens, like Barishka said? Do we finally have evidence pointing to the truth? Are we truly any closer to decoding these centuries-old mysteries?
A lot of archaeologists have said to me, but we don't find any plastic bottles from the Ice Age. That means there was no advanced civilization during the Ice Age. Well, hang on. Maybe an advanced civilization might have decided never to get involved in plastic in the first place. Maybe there would have been a clear choice not to make plastic. Maybe they did things in completely different ways.
Decoding the mysteries of the Sphinx and other modern myths. Few symbols convey the mysteries of ancient consciousness more strongly than the Great Sphinx of Giza. Located just south of the Great Pyramid on the west bank of the Nile River, this mythical creature stands as the oldest known monumental sculpture in Egypt. According to mainstream scholars, it was built by ancient Egyptians during the reign of the pharaoh Khafre between 2558 and 2532 BC. However, this dating has been the subject of intense debate and alternative theories, leading to many modern myths and speculations about its origins and purpose. In 1992, author and independent Egyptologist John Anthony West made a radical claim that the Great Sphinx of Giza was not carved in 2500 BC, but 9,000 to 10,000 years earlier, before Egypt was a desert, and even before the dawn of man as we know it. This theory came from West's studies of the works of 1920s scholar R.A. Schwaller de Lubicz, who suggested that conventional Egyptologists had overlooked critical details. Specifically, West noted that the body of the Sphinx had distinct markings of water erosion. West's theory received both critical yet affirming responses from an Oxford geologist he consulted. When presented with photographs of the Sphinx, with the head and paws masked off, the geologist agreed that the erosion is caused by water, not wind and sand. This discovery implied that the Sphinx had been exposed to significant rainfall, which had not occurred in the region for thousands of years. West's conclusion is still considered controversial and is not widely accepted by mainstream Egyptologists, but it succeeded in sparking a quest for new scientific investigation. Determined to validate his hypothesis, West enlisted the help of Professor Robert Schoch, a geologist at Boston University. Schoch's first visit to the Sphinx in 1990 confirmed West's observations. Schoch noted that the Sphinx's weathering and erosion patterns were inconsistent with the hyper-arid conditions of the Sahara Desert. Instead, the patterns suggested precipitation weathering, implying that the Sphinx had to date back to a time when Egypt experienced much more rainfall. Schoch's research initially estimated the Sphinx's age to be around 5,000 to 7,000 BC, much earlier than traditional dating. However, continued studies and seismic data analysis pushed Schoch to revise his estimate even further back in time, to around 10,000 BC. This dating aligns with the end of the last ice age, a period known for its much wetter climatic conditions. Schoch faced fierce criticism from Egyptologists who argued that such a date was impossible, debating that no known civilization existed at that time capable of constructing the Sphinx. Further support for an older Sphinx comes from geoarchaeologists Manichev and Parkhomenko in 2008. They proposed that the distinctive weathering patterns on the Sphinx could be traced back to when the Mediterranean Sea extended to the Giza Plateau, which could date the Sphinx to as much as 800,000 years old. They also suggested that these weathering patterns predated the Sphinx's actual carving, which utilized an existing rocky cliff. The question of the Sphinx's age is not just academic. It heavily impacts our understanding of ancient human history and civilization. Suppose the Sphinx was indeed built during a time of heavy rainfall. In that case, this challenges the conventional timeline of human development and suggests the existence of a sophisticated civilization capable of monumental architecture far earlier than previously thought. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Sphinx's possible antiquity is its alignment and symbolic significance. The Sphinx is oriented due east, gazing directly at the rising sun on the spring equinox. This precise alignment suggests that the Sphinx's creators had advanced knowledge of astronomy. Some researchers propose that the Sphinx and the pyramids are part of a larger astronomical alignment that dates back to 10,500 BC, when the constellation of Leo rose directly in front of the Sphinx at dawn. This hypothesis is supported by the work of Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval, who argue that the layout of the Giza Plateau is a terrestrial map of the constellations Orion and Leo. According to their theory, the Sphinx represents the constellation Leo, while the three pyramids correspond to the three stars in Orion's belt. This alignment, they conclude, could only have occurred in 10,500 BC, providing a compelling argument for the Sphinx's construction during this period. If the Sphinx was built to mark an important astronomical event, what purpose did it really serve? Some researchers, like John Anthony West, suggest that the Sphinx and the Giza Plateau serve as a time capsule, preserving knowledge from a lost civilization that experienced a cataclysmic event. This theory suggests that the Sphinx and pyramids were built to hold information about astronomical cycles and cosmic events, warning or guiding future generations. It is also a theory that aligns with Borishka's statements about the importance of the Sphinx. Adding yet another layer of mystery, Robert Schoch discovered another anomaly beneath the Sphinx during his seismic studies. He identified a large, man-made cavity beneath the left paw of the Sphinx, which he believed could be an underground chamber. Although Egyptian authorities have limited further exploration, this finding has added to speculation about hidden chambers and potential records of ancient civilizations buried beneath the Sphinx. The idea of a hidden chamber beneath the Sphinx resonates with the writings of ancient historians and mystics. For instance, the Greek philosopher Plato tells the story of Solon, who learned from Egyptian priests about the existence of advanced civilizations that predated Egypt's history. According to the priests, these civilizations left behind records of their knowledge and achievements, which were preserved in secret chambers. Modern myths and esoteric traditions also hint at the existence of ancient records beneath the Sphinx. Some believe that these records, known as the Hall of Records, contain the accumulated wisdom of a highly advanced civilization that once thrived on Earth. These records are thought to include knowledge of advanced technologies, cosmic cycles, and the true history of humanity. Accessing this knowledge, however, is believed to require a certain level of spiritual and technological advancement. We may not be smart enough yet to access it. Do you think future generations will be able to unlock its secrets? In this view, the Sphinx serves as a guardian of this ancient knowledge, a sentinel watching over the secrets of the past until humanity is ready to receive them. This idea also coincides with the symbolic representation of the Sphinx in various esoteric traditions, where it is viewed as a gatekeeper to higher knowledge and spiritual enlightenment. The Sphinx's charming smile and scrutinizing gaze invite us to look beyond the surface and seek deeper understanding. Who were these ancient beings? What can they tell us about ourselves and our past? Ancient aliens, the Anunnaki. Various alternative theories suggest that the Sphinx is not only far older than first predicted, but is also potentially connected to ancient extraterrestrial beings known as the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are a group of deities from the ancient Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian cultures. The name Anunnaki means those who came from the heavens, or offspring of Anu, referring to the sky god Anu. According to ancient texts, the Anunnaki descended to Earth and played a significant role in human history, including the creation and advancement of human civilization. Zecharia Sitchin, a believer in the ancient astronaut theory, popularized the idea that the Anunnaki were extraterrestrial beings from the planet Nibiru. Sitchin's interpretations of Sumerian texts suggest that these beings arrived on Earth approximately 450,000 years ago, seeking gold to repair their planet's atmosphere. To facilitate their mining operations, the Anunnaki supposedly created humanity as a slave race through genetic manipulation, While mainstream scholars have dismissed Sitchin's theories as pseudoscience, the idea of the Anunnaki has captured the imagination of many. The connection between the Anunnaki and ancient structures like the Great Sphinx of Giza adds another layer of intrigue to the ongoing theories surrounding this monument. Some theorists argue that the Sphinx could have been constructed by an earlier, advanced civilization, possibly one influenced or created by the Anunnaki. Researchers who believe in the Anunnaki theory argue that these extraterrestrial beings had advanced knowledge and technology far beyond that of early human civilizations. The precise alignment and construction of the Sphinx and the pyramids at Giza suggest a level of sophistication that some believe could only have been achieved with outside assistance. The Sphinx, with its lion's body and human head, could symbolize the integration of human and celestial knowledge. The alignment of the Sphinx with the constellation Leo around 10,500 BC, as suggested by researchers like Graham Hancock, further supports the idea that its builders had advanced astronomical knowledge. If the Anunnaki were indeed those who came from the heavens, they might have shared this knowledge with ancient civilizations. Others believe that the Hall of Records, meaning the secret chambers discovered beneath the Sphinx, hold the knowledge left behind by the Anunnaki. They could have also left this knowledge behind as a possible failsafe in case they ever needed to return to Earth for future endeavors. This could also be why we have not successfully gained access to these ancient chambers. The ancient Sumerian texts also provide fascinating hints about the Anunnaki's interactions with humanity. These texts describe the Anunnaki as gods who bestowed knowledge and civilization upon humans. If these accounts are to be taken literally, they could mean that the Anunnaki played a direct role in shaping early human societies, including those in Egypt. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence for the Anunnaki's influence is the similarity between Sumerian and Egyptian mythologies. Both cultures followed a pantheon of gods, engaged in monumental architecture, and possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics. These similarities allude to the possibility that the Anunnaki's teachings spread from Mesopotamia to Egypt, influencing the construction of the Sphinx and other ancient structures. While the idea of an Anunnaki-Sphinx connection is fascinating, it is not without its criticisms. Mainstream archaeologists and historians say there is insufficient evidence to support the existence of the Anunnaki, or their involvement in human history. They conclude that the achievements of ancient civilizations can be explained through human ingenuity, resourcefulness, and the gradual development of techniques and technology over time. Critics also quickly point out that many theories about the Anunnaki and the Sphinx rely heavily on ancient texts and geological data interpretations. They argue that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, which is currently lacking for the Anunnaki hypothesis. So, where do we go from here? What do we make of all these conflicting theories and findings?
The Europeans did not look for people smarter than they were, okay? And to this day, where they find evidence where that might have been the case, you have people saying aliens did it.
It is true that the Sphinx and the pyramids of Giza spark debate among researchers and have become the subject of many different theories and conspiracies over the years. It is certainly entertaining to give weight to theories relating to aliens. On the contrary, though, it is important to acknowledge the racist undertones of some of these theories. The core of pseudo-archaeological theories often undermines the accomplishments of non-European cultures. While achievements in ancient Greece or Rome are rarely questioned, sites in Africa, Asia, and the Americas are frequently attributed to external influences. This double standard shows an apparent racial bias, implying that BIPOC communities were incapable of their historical achievements. Some researchers often claim that extraterrestrials or mythical civilizations like Atlantis were responsible for these achievements. While such ideas may seem harmless or entertaining, they are inherently biased and dangerous. Frank Joseph, who has published numerous works on Atlantis, is a prominent figure in this field. However, Joseph is also known by his real name, Frank Collin, a former leader of the American Nazi Party, and founder of the National Socialist Party of America. His involvement showcases the disturbing connections between pseudo-archaeology and white nationalist ideologies. A study by Chapman University found that many Americans believe in ancient advanced civilizations like Atlantis, or the idea that aliens visited Earth. These beliefs become the basis for individual realities that support the notion that BIPOC people are incapable of being responsible for their cultural legacies. Hyperdiffusionist theories, which propose that advanced ancient civilizations like Atlantis or the Aryans spread their knowledge worldwide, are prevalent among white nationalists. The spread of pseudo-archaeological theories, without any empirical evidence to support them, contributes to the marginalization of BIPOC communities by denying their historical achievements. This denialism supports the rewriting of history through a white supremacist lens. To counteract this, the public and academic communities must actively challenge pseudo-archaeology and the white power structures that use it to further their goals. We must make more attempts to recenter the voices of marginalized groups and acknowledge their contributions to human history. It is the only way to ensure a more accurate and inclusive understanding of our past. It says a lot about the political climate of the world when we would rather believe a white Russian child than indigenous communities and give them control of their narratives. Hence, this effort is crucial in dismantling the harmful narratives perpetuated by pseudo-archaeology and supporting the integrity and dignity of all cultures. Furthermore, we can only determine the truth of the world and our history, including the truth of the mysteries of the Sphinx, by properly acknowledging the communities that represent that history to begin with. How can we imagine ever coming even an inch closer to the truth without giving credit where credit is due? Is enough effort being made to deter these conspiracies? Are we any closer to finding the absolute truth behind these ancient mysteries? Do you think we are discrediting our ancestors by denying them their genius? Please share your thoughts in the comments with us. We would love to hear your contribution. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more myth-busting videos.